Hey everyone, I'm Derek Jameson, and welcome to my course, The 9 Galactic Tools for Self-Mastery here on Earth. I'm really glad that you have joined this course. This is much more of a niche course because we are focusing on the galactic tools. And the reason why we're focusing on the galactic tools is because this spans beyond just us and our human selves living here on Earth. Now, this may be for some specific esoteric people that are more interested in this information, but this does apply for everyone because we are galactic beings and we are in a space at this time where we are remembering our galactic heritage. Many people at this time are having connections with their other selves, other beings that are them in a different reality. And if this is a little out there for you, just take what sticks and then leave the rest. But many of us are having contact experiences where we are connecting with other frequencies, spirit worlds, and other such beings that really have information to serve us here on the planet so that we can be able to transmute the negative energies that are taking place in the dark sense, not negative. All negative things are not bad, but just saying the dark energy that's in the planet that has permeated a lot of our experience. So we are trying to reawaken everybody's power rather than having that power be diminished or to create the illusion of separation from what the self has come here to do. And so that's why I wanted to create this course, was to touch on the things and more of the galactic history that comes into play with it. And I will be talking about some things that deal with galactic history so that we can understand what it is that we're doing on the planet in the first place. So when it comes to that, I want to first focus on our galactic history. When we look at the reason for why we are even here having this experience, that's the key word right there. The experience. We were meant to have an experience that would allow us to truly learn about us. And why would we want to learn about us? Like, what's the point of us all having this experience where there is pain, there is pleasure, and everything in between? Well, that's because we are all the same. We all come from the same source. We all come from the same ball of energy, and we are simply fragments or mirror reflections of each other, having different experiences, different perspectives on those experiences, so that we can be able to reflect back what we need to learn about ourselves. And so when we think of this concept of coming from the source or the all that is, coming from the central core of where we are from, some people refer to it as a body of water. It just depends on what feels right for you. But I typically think of it as we are all reflections of each other, and everything that we have in our reality, including this computer that's in front of me, is also something that reflects where is a reflection of myself, is a reflection of me. It mirror reflects back to me what serves me and what it needs to do to help me to learn the things I came to learn, and help me to progress along that journey. I mean, here I am making this video so that I can share this information with you, so on and so forth. So what I want us to focus on too is that we are going to be seeing ourselves as mirror reflections of each other. It's important that we go back into that kind of source energy and we look at the beginning of it, because to understand what we're doing here and where we are going, and for true self-mastery, we must look at the truth of us being the same, just fragments of each other. Because what we are experiencing on the planet is such a deep realm of separation, of polarization, and it was always constructed to be that way. It all started as one unified field, right? One unified source. And from there, the source, the all that is, that beautiful expression of the oneness, wanted to break off so that it could experience itself. And the only way to do that is to go from one and create duality. And so that duality is where we get things like masculine and feminine, hot and cold, small and large, so on and so forth. So the only way we could experience is if we came out from this space here and we came into a dual form, right? And then think of how cells split off there. It begins fragmenting and splitting off, and then that creates everything. It's the same kind of form when we look at it like that. The all that is wanted to experience itself. So when we look at us, we are looking at ourselves as the form of the one. We are just fragments. We are pieces of the one thing. Now, I don't want to look at it as we are broken. We're not broken from anything. It's all integrated within that oneness. We just have to be willing to see that we are all part of the one unified field. Now, it's hard to do for some people because we polarize so much and we're so separate. I'm in my body, you're in your body. And so we have these different experiences that make us seem that we are separate from each other, but it's creating the illusion that we are separate from each other. And the goal here is to reintegrate. But we had to have the illusion of separation so that we could learn how to reintegrate and bring it back together. And that's really the point. So when we look at, let's go back to that source energy that we were talking about. When we look at the beginning and how source wanted to fragment itself so that it could experience itself, it began to split off in pieces, right? In rays. Let's call it rays of light. It began to split off in rays of light. And you could think of these rays of light as the chakra colors, the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the light blue, the indigo, the violet, and so on until it reaches out of the visible color spectrum. But it began to split off in that way so that it could begin to have different levels of vibration and different expressions so that it can learn about itself. But it is all connected to that one source. Okay. And at the beginning, there was originally beings and entities. You can think of them as entities or beings. Just I would think of it as energy that was at the beginning. Energy that was at the beginning to be able to kind of densify itself in order to have experiences. So the more that we densify that energy from the oneness, that unified field, the more it densifies down and slows down the vibration, the more that we are able to have a polarized experience. And within our third density, we're going from third to fourth density. I'll try to explain that a little bit more. But our third density is where we are so physically focused. And the third density is where we create so much separation, so much polarization that we reach that like the bottom of the barrel separation, which is why you experience the things you experience on the planet with people and wars and fighting against each other, looking at this illusion that race separates people. It only separates people because they want it to separate people. It creates a protection. It's that deep polarization. But through that deep polarization is where people are reflecting back to themselves what is going on within them, and they can bring it back to heal. That's where we come into these 9 tools, these galactic tools to master your Earth experience. And that's why I created this course, was to help you understand the different main themes that we are learning here on this planet, the experiences we are having. And what I want you to know is that these aren't done in succession. It's not like you do this level and then you get to this level and then get to this level. I want you to think of these 9 mastery tools as things that kind of stack up on each other. They come in at different times and you do certain things. You might waft out of that and a new mastery tool comes in to give you the opportunity to work with it. But they all work together in that quantum field. And when I say quantum field and I refer to the quantum field, I'm referring to the all that is. Everything is existing all in one, is all existing now. We're just focusing our energy on a specific theme or a specific linear expression of our time frame, which is why we're having a physical experience here. But we are all in the quantum field. That's why people can access angelics or other beings or other lifetimes that they live. Okay, so I also refer to this planet being a healing planet, and that is a very important one. Some people come in and they polarize and look at it as a prison planet, and they look at it as this was a slave race and certain alien beings had created this whole slave race mentality. And we don't want to polarize like that, because everything had its place for the evolution of the universe, our galaxy. It had to have its place in order for us to learn about certain things. And just because something is in a specific vibration doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that that's bad and this is good, right? It's just an experience. And if we continue to polarize saying that is bad, and that goes for what we're living now, if we go, that is bad, we are polarizing and we are not learning what we are meant to learn from the experience. But it is my belief that planet Earth is a healing planet. And we have come here as human beings to create the healing energies that will tie up some of the energetic experiences that have happened within the galactic history. So as we go back to when I was discussing that fragmentation, it splits off. But what happens when things split off and create dual nature, then you have things that start to polarize negatively and things that start to polarize positively. But those polarizations become so separated that conflict begins. Whereas if we were to integrate our negative and positive selves, right, into this one unified kind of energy, they could work together. I know I use my hands a lot. They could work together and start like swirling around each other, loving each other, realizing that they are all part of the one. But instead, when deep polarization happens, the separation happens, and they look at it as this and this because they are so far away from each other that they cannot see anything different than that polarization. So that is what created galactic wars. I'm not going to get into all the different planetary systems that are involved with this, but you can look up literature or channeled material that will give you this information. And it does deal with ancient star systems like Lyra and Vega, galactic wars that went from the galactic conflicts that went from Lyra and Vega, moving into Sirius, the star system Sirius, moving into different areas. You know, a lot more is connected through the Orion wars that took place. And you can even see things reflected from the movies we have, like Star Wars. And I believe that the new Foundation show that's coming out is going to be reflective of this too. And I think that Dune is also reflective of these Orion wars and these conflicts that had taken place. So out there was deep polarization, deep wars, people thinking that they're right, thinking that they're wrong, vice versa. It just becomes this huge game, but things become so polarized and so dark that even if those wars have been ended for a long time, does that mean that the energy from the wars have been healed? Not necessarily. You can look at it from this perspective, where if you get injured and you keep getting injured and it heals, right? But then you keep going back and doing the same thing that got you injured. Are you really healing from the experience, or do you keep that cycle perpetuating? That's how we want to equate it and look at it here. So there were energies still existing from those conflicts out in the galaxy. And as those energies still exist, we come here because this planet had a more neutral playing ground. As we see polarization, it's actually more neutral than it seems. We are all still here together trying to learn through each other and trying to heal it, even when we can't see it. And there are markers in the stars and on our planet that help to remind us. The Star Wars movies, the Foundation show, the Dune, the different stories about galactic wars are all here to remind us of what we are here to heal. That's why the pyramids that are around the planet can align up with the Orion's belt, with those stars, because they're sent as reminders of what we are meant to work with. And it aligns and synchronizes and helps us connect to those energies. So as we are here, we truly are a healing planet. We were meant to go through fragmentation. We were meant to split off so that we could learn through deep polarization how to reintegrate back into the one. And what I can tell you now is that we are moving from that deep polarization back into reintegration. We have moved from a third density. And when I say density, I'm referring to levels of consciousness. And those densities actually correspond to the chakra centers. So you're looking at the first density corresponding to the root chakra, the second density corresponding to the sacral chakra, the third density responding to or corresponding to the solar plexus chakra, and the fourth density is going to the heart chakra. And then we go up from there. But the ones we mainly focus on right now are the fact that we're moving from, sorry, look at them all. We're looking from the third density, we're moving into the heart space. We're moving our vibration up to operate from more heart-centered places, understanding. That's why things are kind of breaking away and new systems our old systems are falling apart. New systems are coming in to replace those old systems that do not vibrate from a place of the heart. Okay, so when I refer to densities, I am referring to the densities of consciousness. And again, the way that you can refer it to for yourself is thinking about the chakra centers. If you study the chakra centers, you are going to know your densities of conscious more clearly, because human beings and the human experience are in that solar plexus energy. Then we move up into that heart chakra, where beings are tended to know, are tended to stay physical within the third and heart and fourth density. The lower densities or the lower chakras are corresponding to things like the elements, the water, the microbes, and the just the different elements. Then when they go up into that second chakra, they were looking at the animals, and higher density, higher second density focuses on like animals that we domesticate, like our dogs, horses, things like that. So it's all a gradient. There's no defining lines here. It kind of just zooms into each other and bleeds over. So there's just endless levels, and within those there's endless levels. So don't think that there's a defining line here. And I'm just covering it over because this is a long intro for this whole program. So I wanted to make this something that was more free talking, just to allow what would come through to come through rather than controlling it in any other way. So that's kind of where we're at. So along with this whole idea of the fragmentation and the reintegration, we have all of these people, all of these places, all these experiences that create basic soul contracts that we all can come in with specific vibrations. And when we meet certain people and when we have certain experiences, it activates those soul contracts. It activates that energy so that we can be able to fulfill the purpose that we came here for. And we all do not have one purpose. We have many purposes to serve on this planet. We came here to do so much incredible work, right? It's not just one thing we came here to do. We came to do many. So do not limit yourself to what you're capable of doing. Open that field, open that ceiling, and let the light pour in so that you can fulfill all the different multiple purposes that you have. All right. So those soul contracts are meant to come and go. Sometimes people are in our lives for a very short amount of time to allow us the energy and the things we need to learn that would allow us to fulfill our purposes. And sometimes they stay for a long time because they are meant to co-create with us. And as we raise our vibration into higher levels of our own consciousness, things that do not serve where we are at presently will naturally fall away, and things will enter in which vibrate with us for where we are at. It is all of purpose. It all serves a divine order that we cannot control, that we just must flow with. And it's important that we go with the flow of the energy and that we stay present and that we ask, what are we being called to do from this present moment? That's where this is important. So I invite you to take notes, because a lot of the information that's going to come through is going to be stream of consciousness. It's going to just pass through, and I'm just going to allow what wants to come forward about this information to come forward. I wanted it to be something more channeled and not something so scripted. So make sure you take notes of the things that stand out for you. Rewatch these videos, because you will hear new things within it that are necessary for you. Again, if you are looking for more information about some of the things that I touched on, which regard the star systems or where we came from and the different galactic wars, you can easily look up information. You can look up galactic wars or channeled material on galactic wars. There are channelers who have brought forward that information, and the universe will provide you with those you need to find that will resonate with you and the information. Okay, my little brief introduction was just allowing you to get an understanding of how source split off, fragmented, polarized, and from that deep sense of polarization in our third density is now reintegrating back into the one. We're reintegrating by raising our vibration. And as we might be singular right now, and I might be in this body and you're in this body, there will be one day where you and I are combined energy. When we are out of this physical experience, we will gain group consciousness. We will move up our vibration. And as we do, we tend, if these are all people, we tend to group like this and become one energy. We will no longer be separated. And it is already there for us. And in a future sense or a higher sense, we have already done it. We have already made it. All we are doing now is having the incredible and exhilarating experience of understanding it. And that is the whole purpose why we are here, understanding. So live big, love, enjoy, release what wants to be released, follow your heart, stay authentic, do and move in the direction that you are called to go. Nothing is ever polarized in bad or good. It is all just something that you are experiencing. So I hope that the next segments that we go through are going to serve your growth. I hope that you understand more deeply how you are operating and how things really start and how you are able to manipulate that energy in the best and highest way that will serve your purposes here on earth. I want you to master yourself. I want you to remember the master that you already are. This is going to be a very exciting time. You really are all masters. We are just simply remembering that energy and helping you reintegrate from this linear experience, the vibration that we are in, to reintegration back into the one. And these 9 mastery tools are going to help you to get there and understand it. Thank you so much for this beautiful first lesson, introduction, whatever you want to call it. I hope that it speaks to you and that you received information in the ways that you are ready. If not, some of this does not speak to you, that's totally fine. You are going to pick out what is necessary for you. But I know that if you are watching this, there are many beautiful little tidbits that you are going to take from it and codes that will be awakened within your field. And you might start meeting new friends in the astral plane. You might start connecting and making contact with some of your higher beings that are essentially you in the long run. So be open, stay heart-centered, have fun, because what you are capable of connecting with and receiving will be beyond your wildest dreams. And I am so excited to be on this short journey with you. Thank you so much. This is Derek Jameson, and I will speak with you soon.